Hey guys, this is What If Okarun Was the Ghost Rider, Part 1. So, not last time, this is a redo, but last time I've been going for around two weeks, and I'm sorry for holding you guys up and being off the radar for like 2 weeks straight. But I'm about to get my consistency back, and I've said this a lot of times, but I'm like dead ass serious this time. But let's just dive right into this fanfiction. What if Okarun from Da was the Ghost Rider? Let's dive right into this fanfiction. So we're not going to do too much exposition. Basically, the Ghost Rider spirit, Hazel, or I think Mephisto, and most of the demonic and supernatural elements of the Marvel Universe do exist in the Dungeon universe, mixed with the Dungeon fiction. So if you guys want me to introduce like alien-like Marvel characters and Marvel-like supernatural characters in this universe or this fanfiction universe, just let me know in the comments. But overall, I want to keep it pretty basic and basically grounded with just the spirit of vengeance in this universe. So let's dive right into this fanfiction. So we start our story off with Okarun starting off his day. And Okarun would have been basically walking down his, hallways, and he would have looked out of his peripheral vision out of the window, seeing the commotion happen with ISA, and her boyfriend. And the same thing would happen. Is like, you got to give out, but you're gonna pay for the hotel though. Like, bro, who is this man? Who is you, man? Get out of my face. But what would happen is after she would have gotten her booty, absolutely crushed. Pause. Not that big, but she would have been absolutely dropped. She really tried to fight this man. You're not that guy, bro. You're not that guy. But what would happen is after the whole commotion between them would have happened, she would have still been kind of all over the place about him. With this whole thing still happening in the original continuity, she would have gone on her way to another classroom, seen Okarun was getting picked on, and would have stopped it. Her being loud, but also very confident, as she would have showed kindness to Okarun, starting their relationship and their friendship, I guess. But what happened is Okarun would have been talking to her, and they would have been going back and forth, and eventually they would hit the topic, or very fast actually, they would hit the topic of the supernatural and, aliens. And Okarun would have been a big believer of aliens and everything about it, but he would have think spirits and all other stuff and ghosts were stupid. And I say it's the complete opposite. She absolutely, to her fullest extent, believes spirits. Kinda. So what would happen is, she would have kinda, sorta, maybe have made a bet with Okarun. Okarun also going on the bet as well, saying that whoever proves the other wrong, the other has to do whatever they say, basically be a slave type shit. So what would happen is they would have made the bet, and they would have gone on separate ways, telling each other to go to a specific spot to see spirits and aliens. Miss ISA would have made her way to the abandoned hospital on the top floor where the hotspots of alien abductions were happening. So she would have been sent there. And Okarun would have actually been sent to a haunted road. In this world, Turbo Granny does exist, but she's not as powerful or as known as the other spirits in this world. She's more or less a folklore, but not an actual real threat, alongside other basically exorcisers or spirit mediums. So to put it simple, let's just say Turbo Granny is a lot weaker in this continuity, giving the chance of ghost. Actually, no, scratch. She's gonna be the same strength, but we're gonna be focused on a different type of spirit that's around the same strength, or even stronger. We all know stronger than her, and this would be the spirit of vengeance. Now, the spirit of vengeance would be, let's just say, a little bit trickier. It would be a curse that would be given down to people by a specific type of demon. And for simple, demons are kind of a touchy subject in this world. And I say doesn't really mainly believe in demons, but she does believe in spirits. But demons are a possibility. So what happened is, well, Isaac would have been on his way in this haunted road, as eventually Isaac would have told him to just make his way down to the tunnel, the haunted tunnel that he gave for an option, or she gave for an option for him to go to after he went to the haunted road and didn't find anything. As Ayase was still in her way walking down the hospital, eventually she would have been seeing strange lights start flickering, and a whole entire light coursed through the hospital. Eventually, the lights would have cut off, and her seeing three Chinese, weirdly alien-like looking men, I guess. And they would have jumped her. I mean, she would have booked it, right? She would have started to. She was about to skedaddle, bro. She was about to dip out of there like Swiss cheese, cream de. She was about to dip. I don't even know what I said. She was about to run, point blank. And they were on her ass like grass. I mean, they were on her ass. They did not let her get away. They didn't even get her a head start, bro. She was done for. They grabbed her, ripped her clothes off. I mean, Jesus Christ.
That's kind of sus, bro.
What am I watching right now? What am I narrating right now? But what would happen, we get switched to black with her, and the phone would have gone silent. And I say, well, getting off the line. Now, Okarun would be very confused and very shocked and also very concerned about what he just heard on the other line. He would have told her, are you okay? I'm coming over. I'm going to say you real quick as he was about to go, but he would have been stopped. Somehow, his tires would have been not working, and somehow he would have found his way right near the train tracks, and a train would have came by, crushing and basically smacking Okarun's head clean off, not off, but pretty much snapping his neck into, as Okarun would have been sent flying into a nearby pole, breaking his back as well, and effectively almost killing him. As Okarun's entire life was flashing before his eyes as he's about to die, some oddly strange looking man would have came to Isaiah.
It's Okarun. It's Okarun.
Broken, bleeding, and all sorts of other stuff. As somehow, I'm surprised he even is able to still be alive. He's not breathing, but his brain function, his eyes, he's still conscious. As Okarun would have been given an opportunity if he signed a paper, if he gave his soul to him. He would allow Okarun to be the best version of himself, and to also give Okarun something he always desired: his father. Now, and for context, Okarun's father would never be in his life. Point blank, in this continuity, I don't know if that's real in the manga, but so far, Okarun's father does not exist. He does exist, but his father, point blank, is a horrible death. I mean, he's a good guy, but he's basically dying. His father is in critical condition in the hospital, and for example, he has cancer. And Okarun, or stage 4 cancer. So Okarun's father is like a special case, like he's about to die. So what would happen is, well, the Ghost Rider, not Ghost Rider, but the demon, the man, in all black, would have told him that all he has to do is smear his blood on this sign, on this piece of paper. And he leaves a paper next to him and puts a piece of rubble on top of the paper, stopping it from falling away as he stands about 6 feet away and trying to see if Okarun has the strength to push himself, to pull himself to that paper. And ominous music starts to play as a huge uproar of noises of demons and people with human-like screams yelling to Okarun not to do it and just let go. But Okarun would have been crawling his way to the paper, and eventually he would have smacked his bloody hand on the paper. Okarun's neck being slightly snapped. His neck would have been like not completely like pushed over or like completely snapped, but his face would have been absolutely obliterated, and half of his eyeball was literally poking out. And also on top of the fact that his whole body in his lower half, like his, I guess, upper body, like I guess pec, like lats down, like even his stomach was completely paralyzed. So what happened is Okarun would have slayered his hand on the paper, effectively signing it with his blood. And Okarun would have woken up the next hour, or not next hour, but the next few minutes as something else. Okarun's body would have started to morph and change as smoke would have started to inhale Okarun's body. Eventually, his body going up in flames as his body would have, us as an audience would have saw a gruesome, hideous, and horrific, pretty much visual of Okarun's skin being peeled off by his bare hands through pain, his body getting snapped back together, his spinal cord being fused back together, his neck being snapped back in contortion, his face starting to heal, or his skull at least starting to heal, as Okarun's entire body would have been ripping its muscle tissue and skin off his body in a horrific manner. Literally like a werewolf transformation, but the thing is, he's ripping his muscles, fibers, fat, everything off of the bone. So it's very horrific. And eventually, Ayase eventually wakes up in her part of the story. And she is given the whole backlash about how these aliens are about to just, honka her because their species cannot reproduce the way humans can. So they're trying to figure out a way to populate their species. And they see her as a good possibility. So they are telling her that they are about to take out their winklies. And
oh hell no!
And she is basically tweaking out. She's like, no. And eventually they start to use their psychic powers on her to try to arouse her. And pretty much pretty simple, make sure she's docile. Disgusting. But what would happen, we can switch back to Okarun. And Okarun would have been gone. Only person left, only thing left in Okarun's spot, Spirit of Vengeance. Spirit of Vengeance would have been, well, let's just say, covered in flames. Us just seeing a bare skeleton with flames emitting from all parts of his body, looking like the Ghost Rider, but just, without the suit, just a skeleton on flames. As he would have looked up as the man would have been gone, and the paper would have been gone as well. Okarun, he would have looked over to his bike, but he would have averted his eyes to someone else's motorcycle. The Ghost Rider, correct me, would have averted his eyes to Okarun's messed up, destroyed bike from the train crash. But he would have averted his eyes to a nearby motorcycle in a neighbor's yard near the train tracks. He would have grabbed the motorcycle and would have started to possess it, controlling it and morphing it into, well, the Hell Blazer, or I guess the Hell Bike. As he would have ridden it, and he would have transformed it into a monstrous machine, a monstrous ride, a ride suited and fitted only for the best, the Ghost Rider. He would have rode off into the sunset. No, this doesn't sound so cringy. But he would have ran off or rode off to Ayase's aid, as he would have saw his phone on the floor and him looking and seeing that Ayase was in trouble. So what happened is we would see this animalistic, very weirdly looking naked Ghost Rider driving off on his bike to wherever Miss Ayase is. As somehow, through supernatural powers, he would have just figured out where she was. But he would have tried to figure out how to get up there in the sky, as he would have gotten creative. And in this continuity, the Ghost Rider is freaking broken. He has powers that are extra. He already has a crap ton of powers. But bro literally just copied pretty much Turbo Granny's skill and just jumped through the phone into the other side of the phone inside the spaceship. First of all, Turbo Granny doing this is crazy work, bro. You travel through literal radio waves. How do you do that? How do you do that, man? How do you travel through waves between a phone, bro? Like, you know how fast and how much you have to pretty much contort? Like, your atoms, your body itself has to change on so much of a level that is insane. So what happened is Ghost Rider basically finds his way on the other side of the phone and absolutely rips the absolute Johnson off of one of the monsters or aliens with his bare teeth, ripping it off clean, as he would have pretty much, like, it's animalistic what the Ghost Rider is doing right now. Like, he's literally running around, jumping, he's crawling on all fours. He's on the ceiling like Exorcist. Like, bro, Conjuring level type of stuff is happening right now. This is some nightmare fuel, bro. And he is literally jumping to wall, pretty much making these aliens terrified. I mean, Jesus, man. If I saw a burning skeleton crawling on the ceiling, even if I wasn't even a human, if I was an alien, I would be terrified, bro. As they are literally getting picked off one by one. Eventually, all of them use their psychic abilities against Okarun, pushing him against the wall, or Ghost Rider. And the Ghost Rider uses a huge blast of hell flames to literally burn through the psychic wall and shoot both of them down. Eventually, all of them do kind of band together and use all their powers at once against Okarun or the Ghost Rider, and it's starting to wear down the Ghost Rider, actually, for plots. Okay, I know the Ghost Rider wouldn't even be able. I know the real Ghost Rider wouldn't be caught dead being got by this trick, but it's for the plot, guys. Stay with me now. So what happened is Okarun would start to phase out of his Ghost Rider form, and his skull starting to regenerate his flesh back, seeing Okarun's eyes, as she would have noticed it was Okarun. Her being confused and saying, "You got possessed by the spirit of vengeance?" As the spirit of vengeance would be kind of a folklore that Isa's grandma told her, and that it was a very powerful spirit that was given to people that were weak-minded at the time, and they would be preyed on by a demon no one knew the name of, a demon that was so powerful, so ancient, that he even at a point knew the creator of the spirit of vengeance, knew what the spirit of vengeance was before it became a curse. So what would happen is, well, Isa would have unlocked her psychic abilities around that same time, as she would have broken out using her powers to fight against the aliens. Eventually, the aliens would have all been taken down by the Ghost Rider. The Ghost Rider would have looked over to Isa and would have looked her dead into her soul. Isa would have been confused, saying, "Okarun, are you okay?" As he would have basically grabbed her shoulders, as somehow the flames didn't hurt, and the flames on his body would have switched to blue. And Isa started to see that Okarun's body started to shift, and blood and organs and tissue and muscle fibers and skin started to regenerate over Okarun's body, kind of like Ego from Star-Lord's or Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 or Volume 2, I think. Yeah, Volume 2. So it was started to regenerate over pretty much well, but Okarun's skeleton. And eventually seeing Okarun whole, but butterball booty out, jiggly bubs out, bald naked. So Okarun would have been yelled at by Isa to put some clothes on, as the ship was about to go down. So Isa used her telekinetic powers or her psychic abilities to basically get them out of there before it blows up. Eventually, Isa is confused, but also basically ask him what's his name, and he tells her real name. He tells her his real name, Ken Takashurim, basically the guy that, well, is her absolute crush. And he says the iconic lines, "I'm just a chill dude. I'm just an awkward guy." Bro, shut your quiet. Isa and Okarun would have made their way to their grandmother's house, or to Isa's grandmother's house, as she wouldn't be using her telekinetic abilities or psychic powers to keep the rider under control. Since the rider was gone, its job of taking down the guilty was over. Now, put simple, these aliens aren't really pure, quote unquote, dead. They're just very badly injured, burnt, and crisply done, well done type shit. Like they're burnt chicken fried. So what happened is, well, Okarun finds himself pretty much walking back with Isa. And we're going to leave it off there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. And part 2, let's just say I have something planned for part 2. But what happened is, yeah, that's what happens for part 1. If you guys want part 2, go in the comments, like, subscribe, get some views up. I don't know, share it to somebody. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. As always, guys, have a blessed day. Deuces.